Florida is reeling after Hurricane Milton swept through the state, leaving widespread destruction in its wake. The Category 4 storm made landfall near Naples and Florida Gulf Coast early Tuesday morning, packed sustained wind of 114 mph, and torrential rain has triggered life-threatening floods. Forecasters had warned the storm rapid intensification and approach to the coast and impact of have been severe. Millions of residents across the state were updated to evacuate to hit the Milton River. However, they some choose to stay behind bringing the storm in their homes. In the past, Milton flattened building, trapped power lines and uprooted trees, many by communities isolated. Rescue operations are currently underway. Emergency services are raised to search those stranded by floodwaters and debris. In Naples, from sewage inundated entire neighborhoods submerged vehicles into many streets and rivers. Local officials described the situation catastrophic, with a widespread damage in homes and businesses. "It's like nothing I've seen ever," said Major Bill Barner. "We knew it would be bad, but sheer force of wind and flooding is devastation." Further north in Tampa, high wind knocking out power to over 1 million homes and businesses. Utility companies are working around the clock to restore electricity, but officials warn it could be days or even weeks in some of the hardest hit era. Across the state, more than 3 million people are currently without power. In Florida, governor has declared a state of emergency. The National Weather Service has also warned for the potential for tornadoes in the storm aftermath, adding the dangerous passage to already severe weather conditions. Heavy rainfall continued to large central and northern Florida, and Milton moved inland through the bandwagon the tropical storm. Sea threat to further flooding and mudslides remain high. President Joe Biden has pledged federal support to aid to recovery efforts and has activated a federal emergency management agency to assist state and local authority with state with the people in Florida. The president said in a statement, adding the federal resources will be made available as quickly possible. As the storm moved toward Georgia and Carolinas, officials are urged residents in the path to take precautions. While the full-scale Hurricane Milton's destruction is still being assessed, it already clear to recovery will be a long and difficult process for Florida. The full extent of Hurricane Milton's devastation is not only now coming out, as the rescue teams navigated challenging conditions left behind one of the most powerful storms to hit Florida recent years. While Milton was breaking into a tropical storm, it moved inland to impact on Florida, being described historic with the damage running into billions of dollars. And the worst hit areas along the Gulf Coast, entire communities have been reduced to rubble. In Naples, Scott Carroll, in Fort Myers, residents are gripped with the destruction of homes, businesses and infrastructure. Local authorities have reported dozens of homes washed away by storm surge, with the hospitals in the region have been forced to evacuate patterns of severe flooding compressing the buildings. Schools across the state have closed, with many being converted into shelters or displaced residents. Authorities are particularly concerned about the retail and inland areas, where rising rivers to poison to the significant flood risk. Emergency services have been scattered to limits and they try to reach isolated posts to service, some of whom have been trapped by floodwaters for over 24 hours. Helicopters and boats have been deployed to assist, with the scale of the disaster is complicating in force. Meanwhile, the number of confirmed fatalities have been steadily rising. At least 15 deaths have been attributed to the storm so far, but officials have number could increasing on such and reduced operations continue. Some of the victims died as a result of fallen debris and collapsing buildings, while the other were swept away by fast-moving floodwaters. It's a nerve-wracking situation, have governor. It's a press briefing. We are doing everything in our power to assist those in need, but the storm destruction is struggling. Economic losers from the Hurricane Milton are expected to soar. Earlier sometimes suggest a storm rank among the most costly hurricanes in Florida history, potentially suspending hurricane lands $100 billion in damage. The agriculture sector, which is vital on the state economy, has suffered heavy blows, and the circus crops in the central Florida breathing to boost the storm wind on the rain. Airports across the state have remained closed, with many flights gathered or cancelled. In Miami, Orlando, and Tampa, thousands of travelers were stranded and airlines scrambled to reorganize flights. Authorities are working to restore transportation links as quickly as possible, but extensive flooding and damaged infrastructure have made many roads impossible. Recovery efforts are now only shooting into gear, with a FEMA coordinated relief force alongside local officials. Power restoration remains top priority as millions remain on the dock, facing swiftly hit without access and air coordination and refrigeration. The widespread power outage have raised concerns about the potential to hit related lines, especially among the elderly and vulnerable populations. President Joe Biden has related the federal government commitment to aiding Florida and its recovery promises with action. This is a difficult time to people in Florida, but will be stand by through this long road to recovery. Biden saying it's no address. Federal disaster aid payments has already been mobilized to National Guard has deployed to assist in the search and rescue missions to provide critical power supplies. As the Hurricane Milton moves northward, meteorologists are closely watching the storm trajectory. Forecasts predicting the path of Georgia, South Carolina, and North Carolina could be one of the heavy rain and strong winds over the next 24 hours. Coastal communities in these storms have been warned to prepare for potential flash flood in the storm surge. For Florida, however, the recovery will be long and arduous. Milton's path of the destruction have less strong that will take a year to heal. For many residents rebuilding that the storm will take depth and challenge it yet. In the coming days or weeks, instead the federal authority will task it not only restoring infrastructure but also addressing the need to communities to have been irrevocably changed by Hurricane Milton fury. As Florida begins to assess the extensive damage caused by the Hurricane Milton, the true scale of the storm devastation is emerging to entire neighborhoods destroyed to the scale infrastructure severely compromised. The storm, which sailed into Florida as a Category 4 hurricane, has left a trail of windscape from the Gulf Coast to the central Florida, dispatched tens of thousands to residents and overwhelming emergency response team. In a coastal area like Naples, Fort Myers, and Marco Island, in the center of apocalyptic streets and littered with the debris, broken power lines, and remind the homes and businesses that were now much for the 114 million winds of storm surge that flooded entire communities. Residents who chose the ride out the store described hearing roofs burned tore from the building and watched as water level rose a dangerous height. "We through, we were safe, but the water just kept coming," said Naples residents standing the rescue of this home. With the search and rescue millions continue, authority failed to deal toll could climb significantly. The current confirmed fatalities stand at 15, but many fear more lives are lost in remote area. The emergency teams have yet to gain access. Several people remind announcement the rescue water face and numerous challenges to reach it, them due to impossible roofs, fallen trees, and dangerous floodwaters. The flooding has also affected key infrastructure. Several bridges and highway have been washed away, dangerous, eliminated, cutting the vital access to the central areas. The Sunnybank Causeway, the critical link on Sunnybank Island, heavily damaged, leaving residents tended to complicating rescue effort. In the central park in the state, river continued to rise, with the Raisin River and St. John River threatening nearby communities to further flooding. Meteorologists warned the author of the story they reckoned the risk of flash flooding remain high. Rainwater continued to dry already slowing waterway. Health officials are raising concerns about the potential secondary effect of the storm, particularly on the lack of clean water and the sanitation facility faces the risk of waterborne disaster. In addition, Florida humid climate is exacerbating health risks to those without access to electricity, and widespread power outage continue. Hospitals are also under strain. There several reported damage and need to evacuate power in critical condition. Utility crews are working tirelessly to restore power, but process have been slow due to widespread damage to electrical grid. On the Tuesday, more than 3 million farmland remain without electricity, and power companies are the fully restoration could take with some areas. Florida Power and Light, one of the state largest utility providers, had deployed thousands of workers in hardest hit region, but conditions remain treacherous.